Okay, so to start off our Claudia Chaseling abstract collage, we are going to first find our primary colors. Now I'm going to use crayons for this first part of my abstract collage. I need to find my 3 primary colors. Remember, the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. So I'm going to use whatever blue, whatever red, and whatever yellow I have available to me. And like I said, I have crayons, so I'm going to use those. And with these 3 primary colors, what we're going to do is fill our paper with different types of lines. Now this is a great time for you to practice and review all of those great lines that we have learned. So you can do simple straight lines. And again, you can use whatever kind of pattern you want for these colors and for these lines. I thought it'd be fun to do like use all 3 primary colors and do a different type of line for each one. So I've got straight lines. I can do a wavy line with my yellow, and a wavy line with my red. Look at those primary colors going to town. So we've got straight, wavy. Let's throw in a zigzag. This one's a little, you can't go as fast sometimes, especially if you want to get like a real sharp zigzag. Sometimes you gotta slow down to get those sharp points on your zigzag lines. Nothing's wrong with drawing nice and slow and careful sometimes, right? So let's do a little zigzag with our primary colors. Let's do, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn my paper. I'm going to do a loop-de-loop line. Loop it up and down, up and down. Loop-de-loop, you can kind of go a little faster, but it depends. If you want a nice tight little loop-de-loop, you kind of do have to slow it down. Loop-de-loop. I like the loop-de-loops because it fills the space with a lot of nice movement. Loop-de-loop line. There. Maybe next I'll do a broken line or the dashed line. This is the line that you see on like treasure maps. Leading you to the treasure. And I'll do a broken line with my red. Looks like I've got enough room to do one more type of line. Let's see. What haven't I done yet? Oh, I could do a castle line. All right, so here's the castle line. Ready? Go down, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. See how it makes like a little square? These are like, not like the sharp pointy teeth you get from a zigzag, but these are like the square teeth. This, it also reminds me of castles, the top of a castle wall. That's why I call it a castle line. Now this one definitely is a little trickier. If you want to get it looking like a nice castle line, you got to go a little slow. All right, finishing up with my last primary color line. What a great way to practice our lines and our primary colors. All right, I'll show you the next step in a second. Okay, now for the next step in our Claudia Chaseling abstract collage, we're going to have to take a plastic bag. Hey, it's Aubuchon Hardware. Take a plastic bag or any kind of plastic really will work for this. What you can do if you don't have a plastic bag hanging around, cereal boxes, you know, the plastic bag inside of a cereal box, that works well for this project. Pretty much any sort of a plastic is going to be what you need for this. And for this next step, we're not going to use our primary colors this time. This time we're going to grab our secondary colors. Those are the colors made when we mix our primary colors together. So blue and red make purple. So we need to find ourselves a purple washable marker. Now, red and yellow, when you mix them together, they make orange. So I need to grab my orange marker. And when you mix the primaries blue and yellow together, green. So we're going to need a green marker. Now, for this step, you're going to take your washable markers, and what you're going to do is you're going to color parts of your plastic bag with your secondary colors. Now, I'm using a regular washable marker, and if you hold it on the side, you can color a big thick area, but if you hold it so that the tip of it touches the bag, it doesn't color as much area. It all depends on what you're looking for. So I'm just going to take some of my green secondary color and put it all over. You'll see I'm kind of spacing it out. So I've got like a little bit of green everywhere. And then I'll take my purple. Might be my favorite secondary color. I don't know. It's hard to pick favorites. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fill in the spaces in between. I'm going to try my best not to overlap or color into the other colors, because we're going to get some color mixing going on that we might not like. So I'm just going to color in the blank spaces. All right. And then I'm going to throw some orange on. There we go. So I'm going to try to fill in the rest of the spaces on my bag with my orange. So we used our primary colors to draw our lines on our paper. And for this part of the project, we're using our secondary colors. We're going to do a little bit of that magical marker painting. So remember, these have to be washable markers for this next part. So now that I have covered a good size of my plastic, and you'll notice if I take my paper, it should be about the same size as the colored area, right? See how the paper is about the same size? If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. Now for the fun part. I'm going to take a water bottle and I'm going to spray my marker that is on my plastic. You don't want it too wet, but you want it wet enough. Okay, so you don't want like big globby, you don't want a pool of water, because then the colors will mix too much. But this should be good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper, I've got my lines on one side, I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to press and smooth. Press and smooth. Don't rub it around, like slide it around, but you want to press and smooth. And if you look, you can see coming through the paper is that color from the marker. And I'm just making sure that I get all of the edges. And yes, you will end up with some marker on your fingers. Be aware, you might get messy when you make art. Oh no. It's a good thing we're highly washable, right? All right, so there, I've gone and I've made sure I'm not sliding it around, but I am pressing and I'm holding it with one hand and smoothing it with the other. And I made sure to press around the edges, and then when I peel it off, oh my gosh, look at the color, it disappeared from the bag and it landed on my paper. Look how bright that is. Yeah. Because I used crayon for my lines, for my primary colors, the paint will not stick to the crayon because crayons have a wax in them that makes the watercolor run away. So the paint won't stick to the crayon, but it will stick to the white paper. All right, so we're going to set this to the side. It's got to dry completely before we do the next part. Now that you are all done waiting very patiently for your painted paper to dry, you're going to grab a piece of box board. It's like a thick cardboard that cereal boxes are made out of. A cereal box would be a good recycled material to use for this. Just a thick, sturdy paper and some aluminum foil. You're going to take and make sure that the shiny side is going to be the side that faces out. So I'm going to lay my aluminum foil on the table. I'm going to crack open my bottle of glue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on my box board here. Just a little bit all over. And then take the box board, flip it over, press and smooth. And then we're going to take this extra foil, just fold it over. See where it goes. And then you can add some glue to that. There we go. Do the same on this side. And fold that over. Now I'm going to add some glue to this edge here. And one more time. So we are wrapping this piece of box board. We're wrapping it with the tin foil or the aluminum foil to make this beautiful shiny surface for our pieces that we're going to cut from here to go on. So let's talk about that next step, shall we? You're going to take your beautiful secondary colored paper with its lovely primary colored lines, and what you're going to do is just chop it up into different willy-nilly pieces. You don't want them to be too small, but you don't want them to be too big. And if you want to, you could even cut along the lines that you drew to help you practice some cutting. You can cut some zigzag lines. You don't want them to be too much smaller than, maybe your hand. I'm going to cut another zigzag line. Boom. Got these great pieces here. I've got my foil paper here. What you can do is start to pick out your favorite pieces. Think about where you want them to go. Now, I can tell already, I'm not going to be able to fit everything on here. So I'm going to have to pick and choose. Which ones do I would like the most? Well, I really like this guy. I'm going to keep him. This one's not too interesting. And this one's okay. But I really like this one and this one. I really like this one. This one's meh. So there, I've got these great 4 pieces here. And see, these fit on there nicely. Yeah. You know what? You can even cut out more of your pieces if that's what you want to do. Oh, I like that. That looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carefully put glue on the back of these pieces like that. Press and hold. Put some glue on the back of this piece. Press and hold. Put some glue on the back of this piece. Press and hold. See how they're curling up a little bit? My paper is so thick. It's very strong. I gotta press and hold until it sets a little bit. Sometimes you have to count to 10. Sometimes you have to count to 20. Sometimes you have to practice singing your ABCs while you're pressing and holding your collage pieces. Sometimes you can stick and run away, but that one's not gonna work. And don't worry if you get some glue on the aluminum foil, because the glue will dry clear. If you have any pieces of paper that are overhanging, you can just flip it over and trim those extra pieces off. Or you could just let them hang. That's cool too. Whatever floats your boat. And there we have a fantastic collage. Oh, hey, I could put a little piece right there in the middle that I trimmed off. Let me do that. Look at that. No waste. Find beauty in everything. If you need to glue down a few more pieces, well, go for it. Remember, you might have to press and hold and practice your counting while you let it sit. I hope you enjoyed your primary color and secondary color collage. Enjoyed that shiny surface and those beautiful colors. All right, skedaddle, go make some art, have some fun.